Around midnight, before the deadline could expire, Hamas accepted the peace plan with certain caveats, including the provision that some of the clauses could still be negotiated. It is clear that Hamas took this decision after intense consultation with negotiators and intermediaries, Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey. Given the foreseeable devastation which Israel had already announced, that anyone left in Gaza City would be treated as a terrorist or a supporter of the terrorists, Hamas had no other option but to agree in its own interest. In a statement, Hamas consulted other factions of its group, freedom fighters, and some of the Muslim countries, including the intermediaries and negotiators. Now, the main question is, to what extent will Israel follow the provisions of the peace plan? Several clauses remain vague and require clarification and fine-tuning at the time of implementation. The major aspect of the whole plan and the key to its success is that trust between both sides must be maintained. Because of the intervention of 8 Muslim countries, it appears that these states will continue to use their influence as much as possible. In addition, Donald Trump, who happens to be the chairman of the Board of Peace, will play his role. Therefore, it seems that Hamas was left with only 2 choices, either to accept or to reject the plan. The consequences of rejecting it would have been disastrous, not only for Hamas, but for the entire leftover population of Gaza City, who could not move from their present position as directed by the IDF. Rejection could have cost hundreds or even thousands of lives, particularly those trapped in Gaza City, where over 250,000 people continue to stay despite the final warning to evacuate. Under such circumstances, given the overwhelming imbalance of power between Hamas and Israel, measured not in multiples, but in thousands of times, it seems that Hamas had no real alternative. Accepting the plan was a viable and intelligent decision, especially with the intervention of 8 Muslim countries. This decision could create a pathway for sustainable peace, not only in Gaza, but across the Middle East, which was on the brink of destabilization due to the conflict. While this peace could be fragile and may not be permanent, at least in the short term, it provides a chance for saving lives and stability. If these countries remain engaged, and if Trump or another Republican administration continues in the next term, a permanent peace may even be possible. Even during Trump's current tenure, steps could be taken to establish the foundation for durable peace. Should that be achieved, Trump would rightly deserve the Nobel Prize and would be remembered in history. Donald Trump's politics have always been associated with controversies and unconventional decisions, but his supporters believe that for establishing peace at the global level, he took a few such steps, on the basis of which, despite all the disputes and differences, she can be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. During his presidency, Trump made several statements and moves that may look unprecedented and surprise the world, and among them were some events that played an important role in establishing peace at the regional and global level. The first and most important argument is Trump's possible role as a mediator in reducing tensions between India and Pakistan when they were on the brink of a nuclear flashpoint. The government of Pakistan officially announced Trump's nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize, presenting the justification that he acted as a mediator in the growing tensions between the 2 nuclear states of South Asia. Although India denied this on several occasions, Pakistan supported it. According to Pakistan's stance, even though the dispute was not fully resolved, Trump's offer of mediation and his statements temporarily reduced tensions and saved the region from great destruction. Such steps are seen by some observers as evidence of his intention and efforts to establish peace. Trump's own claims are also notable. He repeatedly said that thanks to his policies, the world's 7 major wars ended, or at least did not escalate. According to him, he withdrew American forces from unnecessary conflicts, and this strategy meets the standards of the Nobel Peace Prize. Critics disagree with this stance and say that in reality, some of Trump's policies increased tensions, but his admirers argue that at the very least, he did not start new wars, which for any American president is no small achievement. In addition, it is said about Trump that instead of the use of force at the global level, he preferred diplomatic and trade pressure and negotiations on several occasions, whether it was negotiations with North Korea or direct talks with the Taliban. Trump's style was certainly unconventional, but he did try to hold direct talks even with enemy countries. Such moves are seen by some experts as new methods of establishing peace. At the global level, some countries have also supported Trump. Pakistan is prominent in this list, where the government declared him a true peacemaker. Similarly, some circles also say that if Trump succeeds in brokering a permanent and lasting agreement in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, then it will meet the standards of the Nobel Prize. On the other hand, a large section is completely against this thinking. Critics say that Trump's policies harmed peace in many regions. For example, he gave unconditional support to Israel and pushed the Palestinian issue into the background, which created a new imbalance in the Middle East. Likewise, the growing tensions with Iran and the crisis that emerged after the withdrawal from Afghanistan also left question marks on his foreign policy. However, as mentioned above, the American president's role in reducing Pakistan-India tensions and ending a limited war was extremely important. Similarly, the Gaza ceasefire is also a step that could play an important role in making the American president deserving of the Nobel Peace Prize. This is why the decision for the Nobel Committee will not be easy. However, if Trump really succeeds in establishing permanent peace in any major conflict like Russia, Ukraine, or the Middle East, then awarding him the Nobel Peace Prize could become a reality.